Good morning, everyone. My name is Akriti Agrawal, and this is my fourth class. And in the last class, we were talking about the post-constitutional laws. So we have completed with the post-constitutional laws, wherein I have told you that whenever a post-constitutional law is being challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court, and after examining that particular law, the Supreme Court comes to the conclusion that the particular law is violative of the fundamental rights of the citizens of India. That is, it is devoid of the fundamental core principles of the Constitution. Then, in such situation, either the court will declare that law to be unconstitutional and void ab initio, okay, or instead of declaring it to be void and unconstitutional, what the court will do, the court will give it the wide interpretation, the purposive interpretation, so that that particular law can be made in line with the constitution, and in order to inculcate the essential basic principles, basic structure of the constitution in that law. Okay, so till this we have completed in our last class, and now today we are going to start with the pre-constitutional law. Okay, so we were talking about Article 13 and constitutional essence. In that line, we are now heading towards the pre-constitutional laws. That is Article 13, Clause 1, pre-constitutional laws. Fine? Okay, so now let's talk about this. So, pre-constitutional laws means that the laws which were being enacted prior to the commencement of the constitution. That is prior to 26 January 1950. Okay, so we know obviously at that time, prior to the commencement of the constitution, who will enact the laws for India? The British India. Okay, the Britishers, they have enacted some laws for the Indian people, and the laws will are like Indian Penal Code 1860, Indian Evidence Act 1872, Indian Contract Act 1872, Transfer of Property Act 1882, Code of Criminal Procedure 1898, Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So you might be thinking that what is this Code of Criminal Procedure is 1973. So many of you might not have known about this, that Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 was the post-constitutional law. It was a post-constitutional law. But prior to that, the Britishers' enactment was the Code of Criminal Procedure 1898. And when the Indian Parliament, they found lacunas in the Code of Criminal Procedure 1898, when they found it not to be in consonance with the Indian Constitution, they amended the this act, and they came with the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Okay, so these are some and many more. There are many other laws, but I have written this. So these are the pre-constitutional laws. Now, suppose these are the pre-constitutional laws. So it is a saying. Actually, it does not happen that when till from their enactment, from their year of enactment till the commencement of the constitution, they were very well applicable in India on the Indian people, है ना? Till so, like this Indian Penal Code from 1860 to 1950, it was very well applicable. There was no problem. But when our Indian Constitution was commenced, at that time, now we have our Indian Constitution. So now any constitutional law, in order to enter into independent India, it was required for those laws to pass the test of constitutionality. To pass the test of constitutionality. Okay, it was required for these pre-constitutional laws to pass the test of constitutionality, which means that it has to be seen that whether these pre-constitutional laws are in line with the are subscribing to the fundamental core principles of the constitution or not, because we know that in Indian society, only those things can exist in Indian society which are subscribing to the Indian constitution, and which are not devoid of the essential principles of the constitution. So as with them also, they also have to subscribe to the Indian constitution, then only they can be applicable in independent India, right? So it was like this. तो now actually ऐसा कोई टेस्ट हुआ नहीं था. There was no such test of constitutionality. In actual practice, there was no test of constitutionality. Our Honorable Supreme Court did not uh, do any test of constitutionality with respect to these laws, but it is implicit, it is implied. At present, we can see that these laws, except these to 2023, इससे पहले तो ये इंडियन पीनल कोड, इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट, कोड ऑफ क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर 1973 ये एप्लीकेबल थे, है ना? और ये जो है इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट, Transfer of Property Act, CPC, they are still applicable. So what does it mean? It is implicit that at that point of time, at the commencement of the Constitution, they were able to pass the test of constitutionality. They are in line with the constitutional provisions, and that is why at present we all are being governed by these laws. Our Honorable Supreme Court used to apply these acts in order to resolve the disputes between the Indian people, be it the civil dispute, be it the criminal case, right? So it is like this. So actually में कोई test of constitutionality हुआ नहीं था उस time, but जस्ट बिकॉज हम लोग आज इन लॉज को अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब ये हमारी सोसाइटी में एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है, और इंडियन सोसाइटी में एग्जिस्ट कैसे कर सकते हैं जब वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की लाइन में होंगे, है ना? सिंपल इज दिस इज सिंपल. ओके, तो दिस इज लाइक दिस, बट so now we can conclude that they are in line with the constitution, okay, because we are applying that. Okay, but now suppose just like in case of post constitutional laws, we know that any of us can become a petitioner and can challenge the constitutional validity of the post-constitutional laws before the Honorable Supreme Court. And so as with the pre-constitutional laws, so any of us, any of us among us, we can also challenge any of the provisions of these pre-constitutional laws before the Honorable Supreme Court on the ground that any of the provision of these laws are inconsistent with the fundamental core principles of the Constitution. That is, there is lack of equality, justice, liberty, reasonableness, non-arbitrariness. So that is why such provision should be declared as unconstitutional. ऐसा नहीं है कि तब हम ये तो इम्प्लाइड था ना, हम प्रिज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि तब अगर ये हम आज अप्लाई कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब वो तब टेस्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिटी पास कर चुके थे. बट अब ऐसा हो सकता है दैट विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम, विद द इवोल्यूशन ऑफ द डायनामिक सोसाइटी, विद द इवोल्यूशन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, it might be possible that any provision of these laws which were at that time was valid, was constitutionally valid. It may be possible that at present Indian people will find that no, now it is not in line with the Constitution. Now it is, instead of providing equality and justice to the people of India, it is reversing, it is doing opposite. It may be possible. So if a pre-constitutional law is being challenged, a provision of the pre-constitutional law is being challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, what the court will do? I hope you are getting it. Okay. So now what the court will do? Honorable Supreme Court will examine its validity, and either the Supreme Court will declare it to be valid, that it is constitutionally valid, or what the court will do? The court will declare that the court will find that yes, this provision, this particular provision is repugnant to the Indian Constitution, is violative of the fundamental rights of the people of India. So that is why it should be declared as void. Okay, it should be declared as unconstitutional and void. So the pre-constitutional laws, if the court finds it to be violative of the fundamental rights of the people of India, the court will declare it to be unconstitutional and void. Okay, now let me rub this now. Unconstitutional and void. Okay, unconstitutional and void. You might have noticed this difference, that in post-constitutional law, I was telling you that the court declares it to be unconstitutional and void ab initio, void from its very beginning, the date from its inception, the date on which it was enacted. But herein I have written unconstitutional and void, not void ab initio. So I will be telling you about this. First, let me read the provision, Article 13, Clause 1. Okay. Okay. All laws in force in the territory of India immediately before the commencement of this Constitution. So what does that mean? That all the laws which were being applicable in India prior to the commencement of the Indian Constitution. That is, they are talking about the pre-constitutional laws. Article 13, Clause 1. In so far as all laws in force in the territory of India immediately before the commencement of this Constitution, in so far as they are inconsistent with the provisions of this part. It means that if they are inconsistent if they are repugnant to the with the provisions of this part, means with the fundamental rights, if they are inconsistent with the fundamental rights, shall to the extent of such inconsistency be void, shall to the extent of such inconsistency be void. So what does that mean? That I have already told you that to the extent, अब जरूरी नहीं है ना कि पूरा लॉ, प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ या फिर पूरा प्रोविजन ही इनकंसिस्टेंट होगा। अब हो सकता है इंडियन पीनल कोड में कोई एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन हो, वो इनकंसिस्टेंट हो, बाकी पूरा लॉ तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है ना। तो हम जितना वो प्रोविजन अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है उसी को ही तो हम वॉइड डिक्लेयर करेंगे ना, बाकी पूरा लॉ तो वैसे के वैसे ही एप्लीकेबल होगा, राइट। So it is like this. So this is what they are saying, that such part to the extent of such inconsistency, that will be void, not void ab initio. Okay, now I will be telling you the consequence of void ab initio that I have already told you, the consequence of voidness of the particular provision. Correct? So I am hoping that you are getting it. Okay. Okay, so void means that um, from, suppose let's take the example of Indian Penal Code 1860. Okay, Indian Penal Code 1860. So from the day of its enactment, from 1860 till the commencement of the Constitution, that is till 26 January 1950. It was very well applicable, and if the court, Supreme Court, at any point of time, suppose in 2017, है ना, the petitioner approached the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court finds the particular provision to be unconstitutional, then the Supreme Court declares that law to be declares that provision to be unconstitutional and void. But the effect of that voidness will not affect the validity of the provision at the time of from 1860 till the commencement of the Constitution. The provision will be very well applicable, will be very well valid from 1860 till 26 जनवरी 1950। तो वहां तक तो वो वैलिड रहेगा। अभी हमने वॉइड उसे डिक्लेयर करा है 2018 में, बट उसका इफेक्ट तब प्रायर टू कमेंसमेंट नहीं जाएगा। ओके, बट from 26 January 1950 till 2018, till 2018 it will become void। अब 2019 26 जनवरी 1950 से 2018 तक तो वो वैलिड था, है ना, जब तक उसको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली वॉइड डिक्लेयर नहीं किया। बट अब जब जजमेंट में उसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली वॉइड डिक्लेयर कर दिया, तो फॉर द फ्यूचर it will be void, है ना। Now it will not be applicable because now it has been declared to be void, it will not be applicable। Meaning of void is that it is now no, it does not have any existence now onwards। But this voidness will also have the effect from 1926 January 1950 टिल फर्दर। तो ये नहीं है कि जजमेंट के डेट से उसको हम प्रोविजन को वॉइड डिक्लेयर करेंगे, नहीं। 20 commencement of the constitution, so from the date when the constitution was commenced, from that date now the provision, the provision of the pre-constitutional law will be declared as void। Okay, so are you getting it? Okay, तो it is like this। तो कहाँ से void डिक्लेयर करेंगे? 26 जनवरी 1950 से डिक्लेयर करेंगे, डेट ऑफ जजमेंट से नहीं करेंगे। उतना रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट होगा, बट उससे ज्यादा रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट नहीं होगा कि वो कमेंसमेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से पहले जब लॉ एप्लीकेबल हो रहा है तभी भी वॉइड कर दे, नहीं, तब तो वो वैलिड रहेगा। हमें मतलब है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से, जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कमेंस हुआ है। ओके, तो इट इज लाइक दिस, right? So that I have told you. Now I will be taking the example in order to make it more clear to you। Okay, okay, so now let's take the example। Section Section 303 of Indian Penal Code 1860. Section 303 of Indian Penal Code 1860. Okay. So in 1860, it was there in the IPC and it was very well applicable till the 26th January 1950. Thereafter, the law came into independent India. In independent India, also it was very well applicable, this provision, right? But in 1983, in the case of Mithun versus State of Punjab, 1983 Supreme Court. 1983 Supreme Court. The section, this provision was being challenged on the ground that it is violative of the fundamental rights of the convicts, and thus it is not providing equality and justice to the convicts. Okay, but before understanding these things, you should know that what is Section 303 IPC. Okay, so I will be telling you it in brief. Okay, so Section 303 IPC, it says that when a person is being convicted for the offense of murder, the honorable court has not honorable court, but the court has declared it to be the court has convicted a particular person for the offense of murder, and he is serving the suppose he has been awarded life sentence. So he is undergoing his life sentence. He is in jail, okay, as a convict of murder. While he is serving his life sentence, in the jail itself, he again commits murder of any jail inmate. Right? He again commits murder of any jail inmate. So this provision, it states that now he will again be tried for that, tried and prosecuted for that subsequent offense of murder. So now if the judge finds him guilty again, if the judge again finds him guilty of committing murder, then the judge can award the punishment, that is the death penalty. जज कौन सी पनिशमेंट दे सकता है? डेथ पेनल्टी फॉर सब्सिक्वेंट ऑफेंस, सब्सिक्वेंट मर्डर. तो नाउ तो इट मींस सिर्फ डेथ पेनल्टी दे सकता है वो. Right? The judge can only award a death penalty. So it means Section 303 IPC is prescribing the punishment of murder as death penalty. No life imprisonment is given as an alternative with the death penalty. Right? So it means अब हमें ये पता है कि जब भी जजेस प्रेस्क्राइब वो करते हैं, अवॉर्ड करते हैं सेंटेंस को, तो अगर डेथ पेनल्टी के साथ साथ लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट भी होता है, तो जज के जुडिशियल ऑफिसर्स क्या करेंगे कि वो they will examine the facts of the case, they will examine the gravity of the offense, they will examine the aggravating factors, and on the basis of that they will see that whether the case is falling in the rarest of the rare category, and then they will decide whether to convict the accused for the death penalty or to award him life sentence. तो वो तो तभी होगा ना जब डेथ पेनल्टी के साथ ऑल्टरनेटिव में लाइफ सेंटेंस दिया होगा, है ना. तो ऐसा होता है, उनको लगेगा तो वो लाइफ सेंटेंस अवॉर्ड करेंगे, उनको लगेगा नहीं ये तो रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर कैटेगरी में फॉल कर रहा है, तो वो उस डेथ पेनल्टी अवॉर्ड करेंगे. करेक्ट? Okay, so it is like this. But in this provision, there was no alternative of life imprisonment. There was only death penalty. Now, I'll tell you one thing, that you can read any provision of the IPC, and we can talk about BNS also. You cannot find any provision wherein the death penalty is being awarded, the death penalty is being prescribed as an offense, but along with that, life imprisonment is not provided as an alternative. What I'm trying to tell you, that wherein the death penalty is being prescribed as the punishment in the IPC, always, it is always that you can see that in the alternative there will always be life imprisonment. So that if the judge convicts the accused person, the judge will have the discretion to either award him the life sentence or to avoid him the death penalty, as the case may be, and according to the facts and circumstances of the case. तो कभी भी आप कोई भी प्रोविजन पढ़ लीजिए, डेथ पेनल्टी कभी भी अकेले प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं होती. डेथ पेनल्टी के साथ ऑल्टरनेटिव में हमेशा हमेशा लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट होगा ही होगा. But now you can see in this provision, the parliament, they in this provision, the Britishers, I should say, not parliament, the British parliament. So they only prescribed death penalty and not life imprisonment in alternative. So this is what, this is unjust to the convicts, because if the judge, if in subsequent murder offense, if the judge convicts the accused person and wants to award him life imprisonment, not death penalty, the judge cannot do so, because the prescribed offense is only death penalty. जज के बाद डिस्क्रिप्शन ही नहीं है लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट देने का. तो दिस इज व्हाट, दिस इज अनजस्ट, unequal to the to that convict person. So in order to do away with this mischief, in order to cure this effect, the petitioner challenged this provision in the case of Mithu versus State of Punjab. I hope you are getting it right. Okay. So in this case, Mithu versus State of Punjab, this provision was challenged, and the Honorable Supreme Court, after examining this pre-constitutional provision, the court find that yes, it is correct that this provision is violating the fundamental right of that convict. He should have the right. He should be entitled to be awarded life imprisonment, even though it is his subsequent offense. पहले से ही वो जेल में था ना, वो तो लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट पहले से ही सर्व कर रहा था, और उसके बाद उसने वहां पर ही एक और मर्डर कमिट किया. तो तब भी उसके पास तब भी ये राइट होना चाहिए कि वो अगर जज को लग रहा है तो उसे लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट अवॉर्ड करें, ना कि डेथ पेनल्टी. बट यहाँ पे ये पॉसिबल नहीं था, इसीलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने the Supreme Court in this judgment declared this provision to be unconstitutional and void. है ना, declared this provision to be unconstitutional and void, and struck down that law and struck down the provision. ठीक है. Struck down this provision. Correct. So what does that mean? That from 1860 to 1980, from 1860 till the commencement of the Constitution, it was still very well applicable on those cases which were there at that time, right? But from the commencement, from 26 January to 1950 till today, it is not valid, है ना. 1980, अब ऐसा नहीं होगा कि जो voidness का इफेक्ट आएगा वो 1983 जजमेंट से आएगा, नहीं, वो रिलेट बैक होगा, और वो कहाँ से आएगा, 26 जनवरी 1950 से. So by this judgment, this provision was declared unconstitutional and void from 26 January 1950. Okay, is that clear to you? Okay. So it was like this. अब what happened was, तो मैंने आपको अब इसमें ये समझाया कि प्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉज अगर चैलेंज होंगे तो उनको कैसे अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कोर्ट डिक्लेयर करते हैं. ओके, तो दिस इज लाइक दिस. नाउ आई विल टेल यू समथिंग डिफरेंट, दैट that you can find that even after 1983, it was there in the Indian Bare Act of the Indian Penal Code. It was very well there in the Bare Acts of the Indian Penal Code, Section 303. But now the difference was after 1983, the difference in the Bare Acts was that there was a footnote in the main page. Section 303 was there, but there was a footnote behind section below section 303, in which it was written that this provision had, let me read this, that this provision, अच्छा पहले मैं आपको 303 पढ़ के बताती हूँ, है ना. लेट मी रीड सेक्शन 303 फर्स्ट. 303 of Indian Penal Code 1860. Punishment for murder by life convict who is already serving life sentence. Whoever being under sentence of imprisonment of life. Okay, whoever being under sentence of imprisonment for life commits murder, he again commits murder therein, shall be punished with death. Shall be punished with death. No life imprisonment in alternative. है ही नहीं life imprisonment, सिर्फ death का दे रखा है. So therein a hash is there in on section 303 after 1983, and in the footnote it is mentioned that section 303 struck down by the Supreme Court in Mithu versus State of Punjab 1983 Supreme Court. Okay, so this is how it was after 1983 that the provision remained there in the IPC. अब तो जब वो हट गया है, अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर हो गया है, तो फिर पार्लियामेंट को ये रिमूव कर देना चाहिए आगे के बेयर एक्ट के लिए, बट उन्होंने नहीं किया. उन्होंने तो अभी भी रखा उसको, है ना, उन्होंने अभी भी रखा है उसको. और बट एक ये फुटनोट उसमें डाल दिया अब आगे कि अब ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हो गया है. नाउ इट विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल ऑन द इंडियन पीपल. ठीक है. So now you have to understand that what is the purpose of still keeping these provision, such unconstitutional provision in the statute book. Why they have done this? So with respect to pre-constitutional laws, we have something. Okay. Pre-constitutional laws. Doctrine of eclipse, doctrine of suspended animation. Okay, doctrine of eclipse and doctrine of suspended animation. Now what does that mean? So what happens is that there is a pre-constitutional law, and in that pre-constitutional law, a particular provision is being declared as unconstitutional and void by the Honorable Supreme Court. But thereafter also, the provision continues to exist in the statute book. Why? So you tell me that अब उसमें कुछ डिफेक्ट है इसीलिए उसको अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर किया. क्या डिफेक्ट है? इट इज नॉट इन लाइन विद द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. दैट इज व्हाट इज द डिफेक्ट हियर इन. ओके, बट it is very well possible to cure that defect, है ना, to do away with that mischief and to make it in line with the constitution, है ना. It can be done. And how it can be done? By the subsequent amendments. by the Okay, so from here I will be resuming tomorrow. I have to end my class today itself, here itself. So till then, thank you. Take care.